Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is October 15th, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 170 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I will mention, as I mention in every video on this channel, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. All the information provided in this video and in general on this channel are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment from Shanuda Bekit. Shanuda, thank you for another comment question. I haven't heard from you in a while. As you can see, Shanuda is one of the top commenters on this channel and also publicly subscribed for 9 months now. Appreciate it, Shanuda. So Shanuda says, hi, my friend has no clock. So what does it mean? So this comment was posted on Understanding Asylum EAD clock. So whenever it comes to applying for employment authorization document, you know, if you ever dealt with asylum, you already know that once you apply for asylum, you are in pending asylum status. All right, and when you are in pending asylum status, after a certain amount of time, you can apply for the employment authorization document and start legally work in the United States of America. It gives you the right to legally work in the United States of America. So it is 150 days. After 150 days, you can apply for the EAD, and then after 180 days, the EAD can be issued to you. So if there is no clock, Shanuda, it means that most likely your friend is in one of those asylum groups, kind of, I call them like a test asylum groups, because there was a lot of changes that have been made, specifically in, you know, dealing with the asylum applications. They're trying to constantly adjust to insane amount of applications that are coming in from people that are crossing the border. So they created a separate group for those people, basically where the asylum applications are reviewed much faster than people who came into the United States really any other way, with with a visa, non-immigrant visa or something like that, and now they're applying for asylum. So most likely I would suspect that your friend is in one of those groups, test groups, basically, where they still keep on adjusting and keep on making new regulations. So for me, it's really hard to answer what exactly is going to happen. If it's recent asylum application, I would give it a little bit more time. I would give it a month or 2 months and then trying to check. But here's the thing though, if he is in a test group, this is just me calling it. This is not any kind of like official terminology or anything like this. But this is one of those groups that keeps getting the adjustments, basically from the regulation, in order to address the amount of applications and process them quicker. Chances are he's going to get his asylum interview very, very quickly, so he's not even going to worry about, waiting 150 days. It's not going to take that long before the interview, all right? Because those interviews are processed very, very quickly. If, however, he has been waiting for about 6 months now, or a year, 2 years, and there is still no clock, okay, then I would definitely raise some worry flags and do some research and do some digging in. Probably reach out to the local asylum office, make sure that they do have the application, it is on file, it's not lost or anything like that. I would make sure he has the alien registration number that was given, that he did, or she, or I'm assuming your friend is a guy, but he or she, that the person received the notice, that they received the receipt from USCIS, from the asylum office, saying that, hey, we received your asylum application. Just making sure to cover all the basics, all right, that the application is not lost somewhere. But if it is a recent application and he still doesn't have a clock on it, then yeah, chances are he's in one of those fast process groups, and he or she will get the interview pretty quickly. And yeah, from then on, it's just really preparing for the interview and making sure that you can answer properly all the questions, and because once you're granted asylum, that's it. From then on, you don't even have to worry about the clock. Okay, so let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next comment from Freddie Melgizo 6627. Thank you for the video, sir. I have a question. Do I need to go to my home country to change my status from J1 to J2, or the appointment is here in the US? Thank you again. Freddie, you're very welcome. Thank you for asking the question. It's a great question. So whenever it comes to change of non-immigrant status, you don't have to leave the United States of America. Everything is happening here. You're submitting the I-539 application. That's it. Once it is approved, your status is changed, depending on which status you're changing it to. However, here's the thing with J specifically, because J exchange visitor, and depending on which program you came here, like for example work and travel, right? That's a J1 right there. With work and travel program, you do have clauses in your contract most of the times that require you, by the time your J1 status, your duration of stay here based on J1 is expiring, you have to go back to the home country. It is in the contract that you signed for the program, for the work and travel program, most of the times. It depends on which program gives you that J1 initially, all right? So what you need to do, you need to go back to the contract that you have signed for this exchange program. Most of the times, whenever it comes to J exchange programs, they do have their program managers, sponsors. So you would have to reach out to that program manager, whoever helped you with the documents, with the application, all that sort of stuff, and ask them and make sure that there is no clause in the contract that requires you to return to your home country after your duration of stay is done. And if there isn't, then you should be good to go. Then you're just submitting the I-539. Once it is approved, that's it. Your status is changed. Okay, ready? Let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next question. Comment from Chef Dimpy 1400 F2A priority date 2018, documentarily qualified 2023. When I and my daughter get visa, it's very frustrated. It is. I can definitely relate, trust me. Okay, so F2A, let's take a look what's going on the visa bulletin. We're looking at the priority date in 2018. Now, I'm not sure which, I don't think it really matters which, it doesn't matter which chargeability area you're from, because looks like it is the same for everyone. So, since you're already documentarily qualified, as you can see right now, F2A is on February 2019. Now, I don't know which month, you didn't specify your month, you said it's 2018, your priority date. So, here's the math that you are doing. For example, if your priority date is in February 2018, right now we can see that the current priority date is February 2019, which means that roughly you have another year to wait before your priority date becomes current, before the immigrant visa becomes available. And the same thing, if your priority date, let's say, is like September 2018, then you are obviously closer, and it's like what, September, October, November, December, January, February. So you're like 5-6 months away from the availability of the immigrant visa. Basically, depending on which months you're in 2018, you do math from there. But here's the thing. With the F2A, we have seen some positive movement recently, quite a lot of it. So if it's gonna keep on moving like this, there was no movement in November 2023 Visa Bulletin, unfortunately. But keep checking Visa Bulletin on this channel. I do make a new Visa Bulletin every single month and compare it to the previous one. And we talk about what moved, what did not move, what went back, what was a positive movement, what was not a good movement. So for you right now, it's the time to stay on top of the Visa Bulletin. Every single month it comes out, you want to be checking on it, making sure that it is moving along, and if it's not, well, you do the math from there. Basically, I understand it is frustrating, but compared to a lot of other people, you are in a pretty good spot. F2A does move fairly good. It was moving fairly good compared to everybody else, and you have roughly about a year more to wait. Less if it's after February. If it's February, then exactly a year. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing, because like I said, every time the new Visa Bulletin comes up, I make a video like this one, the one that you commented on, and hopefully we will be able to see some movement for everybody, really, not just for F2A, for everyone. I pray for positive movement for everyone. You know, it's all families. It's families. It's family reunification. Okay, let's move on to the next one from user BR1QQ. Sorry, YouTube no longer shows me names. They show me the handles only. I don't know why. Please speed up NVC interview schedule appointment 2023 USA spouse visa F2A. My documentarily qualified email was July 2023. Priority date is 23 December 2021. When I can get interview appointment date after becoming documentarily qualified. Email, my husband is a green card holder USA. I'm from Bangladesh. My husband is too old. I need to go on there. Please speed up. DHK NVC. I miss my husband too much. Okay, sorry you're dealing with this. It's part of the deal, unfortunately. Like I said, I can personally relate. I have a petition that I will be waiting for a very long time, very long time, much longer than you will. But the good news for you is that you're in F2A. You're already documentarily qualified. The only thing now, you're waiting for your priority date to become current. Now your priority date is in December 2021, and again, if we look at the visa bulletin, we are on February 2019, which means that priority date on February 2019 and earlier, as of right now, as of November 2023 visa bulletin, as of November 2023, that is, according to the visa bulletin, their immigrant visas are becoming available. So you're in December 2021, okay, which is almost 2022, yeah, December 2021, and we are in February 2019 as of November 2023 visa bulletin. So you're roughly, let's see, 2021 December, so almost 2022. Let me look at it again. December 2021. Yeah, almost 2022. So that would be roughly, about, my math is horrible, so about 3 years, roughly a little bit less than 3 years. So over 2 years would be December 2020, February 2021, and you're in December 2021. Yes, okay, so you're like 2 years and 10 months, roughly, away from your priority date becoming current. When your priority date becomes current, your immigrant visa is available. When your immigrant visa is available, that's when the US Embassy starts to schedule the interview. Unfortunately, there is nothing much you can do at this point. I understand it is frustrating, but even with the, filing the expedited request with the NVC, your priority date has to be current in order for you to file that expedited request. So for you as well, just like my previous recommendation for Chef, stay on top of the visa bulletin every time the new visa bulletin comes out. Make sure to check it, but you do still have some waiting to do, unfortunately. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I think it's the same. Yeah, it looks like it's the same. Please answer me. How long wait after becoming documentarily qualified? Email F2A, my documentarily qualified. Okay, so this is when I can get interview appointment date 2023 after becoming documentarily. Yeah, so it's definitely not going to be anytime in 2023, and I don't, unless there is a really good movement in the visa bulletin, might not be 2024 either. Okay, let's move on to the next one from SKB, excellent video. Wish to take advantage of it once my I-140 EB1A is approved. And also, can you do a video on DS260 for people with I-824 filing, please? Thank you very much. SKB, you're very welcome. I'm glad this video was helpful. I think that's a great suggestion. I will try to find maybe a PDF. I don't think they have a PDF form of the actual DS260, but I think I might be able to find like a screenshot version or something like that. I'll have to do my research. And yeah, I think it's a good idea to make a video on walkthrough of filling out a DS260. DS260 is very straightforward. It's just the application for an immigrant visa. So you're just putting in your personal information, but it's a good idea. I think I will, I'll try to find it, and I'll try to make it happen. Okay, moving further to Mr. Landis. Thank you for the information. As a parolee from Venezuela, do I need to apply again for the work permit in case my parolee status runs out? Okay, Mr. Landis, so that's a great question. So you go, whenever it comes to the employment authorization, you go by the expiration date in the document, all right? So if it is expiring, if you're parolee, right, if you're getting your employment authorization based on your parolee status, obviously your parolee status, it needs to be either extended or it needs to be currently active for you to file the renewal for the employment authorization document. Okay, so if your employment authorization document is expiring and you still have your valid parolee, then you're fine. But if your parolee is also expiring and there is no renewal for the program, like the Department of Homeland Security, they make these decisions whether they extend the program or they don't. And so even if your parole is expiring, then obviously, because the employment authorization document is really based on your current status. So if that status is expiring, then you won't be able to renew your employment authorization document. You would have to first address your immigrant status, basically your parolee status first, before you can. It's not whether it's considered immigrant or non-immigrant, it doesn't matter. But the status that allows you to legally work in the United States, that's really what matters before you can do the renewal. But as long as it is, then you're not going to have a problem renewing the employment authorization. Okay, so let's post the response here. We're going to move on to the next question from Sunrise GP3YM. Sunrise, thank you for another comment. As you can see, Sunrise is one of the top commenters on this channel. So Sunrise says, hi, last time you told me to send an email again to expedite my brother's case because my mom's still in coma and they didn't do anything. I don't know what to do. Also, I don't know what will happen to his case if something happens to my mom because she's the petitioner. After he gets approved and now waiting for his interview. But his priority date, February 2017, means need 2 more years. And he was waiting for 8 years. Sunrise, I'm very sorry that you're dealing with the situation. It's definitely not easy situation. You gave it a shot. You sent a request to NVC. They did not respond because the priority date is not current. They do have a requirement, unfortunately, for the priority date to be current in order for them to address those expedited requests. If the priority date is not current, they cannot do much, unfortunately. So you tried. Now, to address your second question, if there is, not very good, if something happens with your mother before your brother's priority date becomes current, then the process doesn't stop because it was already approved. And if the I-130 petition is approved by USCIS, doesn't matter which stage it is in. I mean, it's already with NVC because once it is approved with USCIS, it's sent to NVC. So if it is already with NVC, which it is, then you would have to find someone who will be willing to be a substitute sponsor on the petition. So right now, probably you don't worry about that. It's more of a personal recommendation from me. Don't worry about that right now. Just spend as much time with your family. Talking to your family. I think that would be best. Because there's really still 2 more years and you don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years. And if something does happen in the next 2 years, then you go from there, but don't step ahead of yourself because it is overwhelming, it is difficult. It's not an easy situation to be in, and that would be my recommendation. But like I said, with with the concern regarding your brother's petition, even if something bad happens and it's not the end of the petition itself, you would need to put in some work into it, but it's not the end of the petition. So I really hope it works out for you, Sunrise. Okay, so let me post the answer here and we're gonna move on to the next question comment from Ahmad Shahshirzad. I'm asylum leave in USA. I don't have green card. Can I apply for travel document I-131? Yes, Ahmad, yes, absolutely. So you would be applying for the refugee travel document. That would be the category that you will be selecting in the form I-131. But yes, absolutely, as an asylum, as a granted asylee, you could definitely apply for the refugee travel document and travel. Just keep in mind not to travel to the country obviously where you're claiming asylum from, and I wouldn't even recommend traveling in any of the country that is nearby, not to cause any unnecessary questions. And it really is different with the situation, because sometimes things, they get resolved and you no longer feel threatened to go back to the country where you came from. But still, all the way up until you get your really naturalized citizenship, until you become a naturalized citizen, and even after becoming a naturalized citizen, honestly I would not recommend going back to the country where you came from and you're claiming asylum from, regardless. That's just a kind of a recommendation for you. But yes, absolutely, you can definitely apply for the travel document. Let's move on to the next one from Rochelle. Anak 4146, F21 category priority date. Okay, F21 category priority date August 2019, documentarily qualified August 22. When my interview will be scheduled? Okay, so you're in August 2019 and we are now on February 2019. So you are about, let's see, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So you're like 6-7 months away from the availability of the immigrant visa. So you really are very close. You are very close. Once your priority date is current, your immigrant visa is available. Once your immigrant visa is available, they start scheduling the interview. Keep in mind, they do take some time for administrative processing to schedule that interview, depending on how busy the U.S. embassy is in the country where you're from. It might take sooner, it might take longer. You don't know, but typically I would say about 6 months for them to schedule the interview. So you are becoming in about 6 months, hopefully you will be current. If we see a good stable movement on the visa bulletin, which is not a guarantee at all, you still need to check the visa bulletin every single month. But a very, very, very rough estimate, 6 months for your priority to become current, 6 months for the interview to be scheduled. Roughly, you're looking at the end of 2024 for the interview. But again, it's a very, very rough estimate, because things might change, things might speed up, things might slow down. It really, really hard to tell. But as of right now, this is what we are roughly looking at. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Time Is Up 22. IR1, spousal. Do we upload personal photos, letters from family, text messages, and call logs to provide bona fide marriage in the NVC stage? Great question. Thank you for asking. So no, you don't have to upload stuff like photos and letters and text messages. You more so upload stuff that shows that that you have bank account, joint bank account, that you have joint property, that you live together, or you have a property together. Obviously you don't live together because you're dealing with family reunification, so the one spouse is in the US, one spouse is not, so obviously clearly it's going to be but yes, so this is the documents that you're uploading, and then of course having the pictures and all that stuff is good. And I would definitely recommend having that in a separate folder, and when the interview is actually scheduled for the immigrant visa, taking all of this information, pictures too, letters, and whatever it is that you want to establish the reality, the legitimacy of the relationship, take them with you too in a separate folder. But no, you don't have to upload that kind of personal stuff into the NVC. In fact, they advise you against doing that, pictures and stuff like this, because this is really, really personal stuff. But for the interview, I would recommend getting that, just in case if there are any doubts for whatever reason from the consul, from the person who's taking the interview. You can always be like, hey, listen, all of the documents not enough? All right, well, here you go. Here's my personal stuff, all out for you. Look, you see this? In case if they do have any doubts. But hopefully they don't. Usually they don't, especially if you provide, documentation that shows that you guys really are, you have stuff together, and you have plans together, and so far so forth. It should be good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Looks like it's just a thank you from Joanna Rice. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching. I'm glad this was helpful. Moving further to James Parker. Looks like a long one from James Parker. All right, let's read it. Like the vast majority of Americans, I'm not anti-immigration, but like most Americans, I'm anti-illegal immigration and am totally opposed to allowing millions of illegal aliens into our country at the taxpayer's expense. Yeah, absolutely. My temporary solution to go along with the finishing of the border wall is to give each one a tax number when they enter our country, so that the state they live in can tax 30% of their income to cover most of the expenses to cover their needs, such as for schooling, healthcare, food subsidies, and police and fire protection. And the minimum they should be paid should be $20 an hour in high cost of living states like California and New York, and $15 an hour everywhere else. And anyone that hires them must also pay for their state comp insurance. Businesses should not be allowed to lay off American employees in order to replace them with illegal immigrants. Their children can go to our schools on an after-hour program to be taught how to read, write, and speak the English language. When they are up to national standards, then they can enroll in a public school. Their share of their education contributions going directly to that particular school district. I project 40% of their contributions will be needed for that, 20% for healthcare clinics, 20% for food subsidy programs, and 20% for police and fire protection. They should not be granted any write-offs or returns on their taxes, or be allowed to take advantage of any welfare program offered to American citizens until they have been fully processed and are granted asylum and have agreed to take the steps to become a U.S. citizen. Take these steps and watch how fast the flow of illegal aliens into our country slows. Every sanctuary city needs this program. The American people need it. We should never allow them to vote and to hold office until they become U.S. citizens. Yeah, makes sense. If they wish to become part of this nation, then require them to earn that privilege. James, it doesn't sounds straightforward to me. Okay, here's the thing. Whenever it comes to the debate about the illegal immigration and immigration in general. And honestly, illegal immigration, I wouldn't call it, immigration. It's illegal crossing the border. That's what it is. I understand that, people use the argument and going back on, look at the history, this was one land and there was a nation that lived on this land. And it's true. It's true. That's really the case for the whole world, people everywhere. There was nation, the place where I come from, we were a nation that was conquered and that was forced into, forced labor and slavery and murder and taxation and religion that was forced on us, okay? And now the whole country is of that religion and following that religion that they were forced into, okay? Because they were forced into it for so long that generation after generation after generation, that's it. It's all gone. It's only one, max 2 generations that you need in order to completely take something away from a person. So I completely understand that argument as well from people saying that, hey, that was a nation of Native Americans, right? People who lived here, and how can they illegally cross the border when it is their land? I understand that argument. But the thing is, now we do have these geographical borders, and these are the same people that are calling for the government to help them out. And even you, James, in your comment, you are basically very, very heavily relying on the involvement of the government. Taxing and taking care of the healthcare and taking care of the food and taking care of the for police and fire and all of that sort of stuff. That's the government taking care, all right? That's the government getting involved and basically overruling, the life of a human being, okay? And this same government, they established the borders. So you either respect that or you don't, all right? You're either completely against, the government, but if you are, keep in mind, if you are against the government, with that being said, then make sure that you are not asking for the handouts for 20% here, for 24% there. Obviously you're better off not paying any taxes at all, right? But now the whole responsibility falls on you for everything. Think about this. You are responsible for literally everything. And most of the people are not ready for it. They're not prepared for it. They are too comfortable being relying on everything that is that is from the government, that is given to them. Okay, literally everything. But if you are for all of this and the government involvement, then you do have to respect obviously the borders and the system, and of course the immigration system as well. And as you can see from all of this, it really comes down to each individual person and the intention, really what's in their heart. I'm an immigrant myself. I came here. I did not break any laws when I came here. There was no part of time that I was in this country where I broke any laws or did anything illegally or anything like this. It took time, a long time. It took a lot of money. It took a lot of background checks and medical examinations and interviews and all of that sort of stuff. But I did do it the right way, and my family, I was able to bring them here the right way without breaking anything. It's doable. It's all open. So if if it is open, if it is accessible, but it's not hard. The right way to do the things the right way, it's never an easy way, okay? And if you're willing to do that, then, you're willing to go through this difficulties in order to do things the right way. Well, that shows the good intention towards the existing system that was placed, towards the people that are living here, that are participating in that system, towards the rule of law. If we're talking about the whole legalities of things, and now we're getting into the world of the flesh, but still at the very core of it, it comes down what's in your heart. And unfortunately, when people choose to do things that are easy, but not the right way, but are easier, which is most of the times the case, it's a lot of times it's easier to take the shortcut, whatever we're talking about. And you can see it, instant gratification. Unfortunately, we live in the times of instant gratification. So, if you are willing to do that, though, that already shows that you don't really have that very good intentions, unfortunately. And if you don't have the right intentions from the very beginning, it's going to be hard. And no matter what you do, no matter how much government you get involved, no matter how you try to organize the system around this not very good intention, not good intention, at the core it's still going to be bad intentions at the end of the day. But it's I think James provided a little bit more than the whole Congress solution than the whole Congress in the past. I don't know how long we've been dealing with this, but hey, listen, if you guys want to participate in this discussion, and if you are interested, I welcome everybody. I welcome all the opinions here. I don't, just keep in mind that I myself am an immigrant, and I've been through the whole thing, and I have no excuses. So I've been through the whole system, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do it the right way. Going through all the interviews, going through all the background checks, paying insane amounts of money, just the application forms, insane amount of money, and then we talk about attorney fees. Yeah, it's crazy. But again, if you want to participate, if you want to be in this geographic location and participate in this economy, in this social, in this whatever has become this country, right? Then this is part of the deal, that we are willing to participate. But thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in today into this video. James, thank you very much for ending this video with an interesting discussion. I'm sure people will want to join on this and discuss this. Like I said, I'm open for everybody. You know, I'm open for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's all intention. And you know, the only way to have the right intentions, to have the good heart, and do the right thing, is to be strong in your faith and know who is your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and know who God is, and living in His Word and living for His kingdom, not for any of the kingdoms that are here, but His kingdom that is up there. So as long as you got that down, you're good. So again, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you for your time. God bless you all, and I'll see you all in the next video.